Unconventional weaponry, the most unique firearm of WWII. Welcome to War and Warriors, where we uncover the wildest, most jaw-dropping stories from history buffs and weapon enthusiasts, to another episode of Unconventional Weaponry. Today, we're diving into the chaos of World War II to uncover the story of a firearm so bizarre, so outlandish, that it's often overlooked in the history books. This is the tale of the FP-45 Liberator, a gun that wasn't just a weapon, it was a symbol of defiance, ingenuity, and guerrilla warfare. Buckle up, because this story is as wild as it gets. Let's get started. World War II was a battle of brute force, strategy, and innovation. While tanks, planes, and iconic rifles like the M1 Garand dominated the battlefield, there was another kind of war being fought, one in the shadows. In Nazi-occupied territories, resistance fighters were desperate for weapons to strike back. But how do you arm a rebellion when every supply line is watched? Enter the FP-45 Liberator, a gun so unconventional it was practically a middle finger to the enemy. Look at this thing. It's not sleek, it's not powerful, and it's definitely not pretty. But this little pistol was designed for one purpose: to be a game changer for resistance fighters. Let's break down why this oddball weapon is one of the most unique firearms of WWII. The birth of the Liberator. By 1942, the Allies knew that arming resistance groups in occupied Europe was critical. The problem? Smuggling rifles or machine guns was nearly impossible. So, the US came up with a bold idea: create a cheap, disposable gun that could be mass-produced and dropped behind enemy lines. The FP-45 Liberator was born a single-shot, .45 caliber pistol made from stamped metal parts. It cost about $2.1 to make, less than a cup of coffee today. This thing was built to be simple. No fancy engineering, no complex mechanisms. It had a barrel, a trigger, and a grip that doubled as a storage compartment for extra ammo. The idea was to give resistance fighters a weapon they could use to take out an enemy soldier, steal their rifle, and keep fighting. It was Guerrilla Warfare 101. The genius and absurdity of the design. Let's talk about how this thing actually worked or didn't. The Liberator was a single-shot pistol, meaning you had to manually load a bullet, fire it, and then eject the casing by hand. Its barrel wasn't even rifled, so accuracy was, let's just say, questionable. You'd be lucky to hit a target 10 feet away. But here's the kicker: it wasn't meant to be a sharpshooter's dream. It was designed for close-quarters ambushes. Think resistance fighters sneaking up on a guard to take their weapon. And get this, it came with a comic book-style instruction manual. The Allies airdropped these guns in crates, complete with cartoon diagrams showing how to load and fire. They even included 10 extra rounds stored in the grip. It was like a deadly IKEA kit for rebels. The psychological impact: the Liberator wasn't just about killing, it was about sending a message. The Allies dropped thousands of these pistols across occupied Europe, from France to the Philippines. Each one was a symbol of hope, a reminder to resistance fighters that they weren't alone. For civilians living under Nazi or Japanese rule, finding a Liberator was like finding a spark of rebellion. It said, "Fight back. You can do this." But here's the crazy part: we don't actually know how effective the Liberator was. Some historians argue it was more of a psychological weapon than a practical one. Dropping thousands of guns behind enemy lines freaked out the Nazis, who started worrying about armed uprisings everywhere. That fear, that was the Liberator's real power. The legacy of the Liberator: by the end of the war, over 1 million Liberators were produced, but their actual use in combat is shrouded in mystery. Many were lost, destroyed, or never used. Today, they're a collector's dream, with surviving examples fetching thousands of dollars. The FP-45 Liberator may not have won the war, but it showed the world that sometimes the simplest ideas can spark the biggest rebellions. So, what do you think? Was the Liberator a brilliant piece of wartime ingenuity, or just a quirky footnote in history? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories from the wild world of weaponry. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the FP-45 Liberator, the strangest firearm of WWII. If you loved this story, check out our other videos on unconventional weapons, and let's keep exploring the gear that shaped history. Until next time, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.